Right. Oh. Start off the stream with the frog in the throat. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all having a good Sunday or early Monday morning if you happen to be one of those night owls who ends up way into the next day, like I often do. Hello there, Prof Malicious. How's it going? Oh, excuse me. Very yawny right now. No idea why. My dice bowl was down there. Hi there, Harpy. How's it going? What have you got cooking? Sorry. I have no idea, but I'm suddenly feeling very... I was yawning a lot right before stream, and it's suddenly made me feel... Ironically, yawning is meant to be a mechanism that is supposed to wake the brain up, and yet I'm feeling very sleepy after it. That brand that comes in wooden package. I honestly don't know what brand you're referring to with that. Actually, before I start the lo-fi music, I wouldn't like to say that the name doesn't ring any bells. Yeah, before we use the lo-fi music, okay, I need something that'll wake me up. Seeing as this song is stuck in my head at the moment, and the music video for it is just absolutely hilarious, we'll start stream with that.
King Danny, the realm is under attack!
My god, the day has finally come.
It is time to release the Kraken!
Look in the distance, beyond the castle gates, the armies of the damned have come. On the horizon, they gather beneath the blood-red sun, the blood-red sun. 1,000 warriors, demons and orcs, charging like a tornado. But they will never know that their death awaits in waves below, in the waves below.
We must now unleash the monster. May God forgive us!
Release the Kraken!
Hey guys.
Yes.
The tolling of the iron bell. Release the Kraken!
I'm the Kraken.
On the road, depths of hell.
Does anyone have a lozenge?
Out on the battlefield, the armies collide.
Oh, it's such a silly video.
In screaming agony, the shadow of war across the land, all across the land. Now it's in the fight, it's time to decide whose blood will finally be spilled.
I'm mainly wondering about the story bit. So like,
Hey, look, I found a bell.
Release the Kraken! Impervious to solar flow! Release the Kraken!
I've got a splinter.
Death and coming from below! Release the Kraken!
Oops, I falled over.
Ocean drowning his domain! Release the Kraken!
Splishy splashy.
Well, you did nothing. The war is lost. Thanks, Kraken.
You're welcome.
like I'm kind of wondering if there's a whole universe that they've crafted for this, and that's just one example of this weird universe. But yeah, I just needed to listen to that so that it would wake my brain up a little. Yeah. There's got to be something to that spaceship appearance. Right. D. Right. Zoom in a bunch. Let's work on that. We've got nothing written for it, but there is one thing that we do know. So if we go to the map, one moment. Why did you open like that and not... Right. So, what we know about Delatros. So it's located... So... Hi there, Tirana. How's it going? Right. So we've got Linatros and Delatros. If I remember correctly, I just need to check things. But I know Lin means brother, and I think I decided that Lin is brother and Del is sister. So work from there. Why am I doing that and not... Work smarter, not harder. Yeah. Del means sister, so... I mean, territorially speaking, that's all part of Deladros. The only difference is that the river the river passes through both Linadros and Deladros. The only difference is that Linadros, the river, the placement of the name is to the right of the river, whereas Deladros, the place name, is to the left of the river. I was about to go edit the map and I realised this is the download of it, not the actual map editing stuff. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but that does raise the question of why specifically brother and sister. You know, what is significant in the history or the makeup of the lands that means that one would be given the prefix of brother and the other the prefix of sister? I mean, I have established that in both cases, refugees from Vrekthis travel into those lands. I mean, like I say, there's not... Like, there isn't really any visual difference at present between the two. It's just where the green and like, it's just a matter of where the densities of patches are. Right, yeah. One thing I'm gonna do... because that line is very difficult to actually... Alright. I'm just doing the line colour changes so that it's easier to see. There we go. Going to be much easier for you to all see where the actual borders are if they're a dark colour. Just add a few. Right. Where the effects of breakfast actually stop is all along here. Yeah, it's purely a quirk of the software that I've not got these patches as green as other patches. Well, software combined with a bit of realism, because some areas are going to be less green than others. suppose the other question is, what does the suffix of adros mean? Because it's going to make it far easier to work out going to be far easier to work out where the names come from if we've worked out what the whole words mean. I mean, we know that generally Ross means land. Do I have anything written for Linadros? That's the question. That will help things a lot. No, I do not. Okay. So, what I'm going to run with is... That's what I can run with. That's it. I've got it. Oh. Okay. Hello there, Pandarius. How are you doing? Oh, one moment. I need to find my. Oh, there it is. Oh, I did not mean to mute it. Okay, Piano Man. Now I'm just trying to bring the tune to mind. That's as best as you'll get from me at the moment. I was really struggling to bring the tune to mind for some reason. Wonder if any of you will get that reference there. And I've just realised you'd barely be able to see what I wrote. Yeah. Deladros shares a strong affiliation with its sibling state Linatros, however will often have heated debates with the latter based on whether meat or barley or similar such produce is the best choice in matters such as trade. Anybody care to hazard a guess as to what references I could be making with that? I'll give a couple more minutes to see if it's not Pratchett. It is a few thousand years older than Pratchett. Not Homer. Not Virgil, although it does in some ways relate to who Virgil guided. And what he was writing about. No. But what Dante was writing about was, well, let's see, relative to Pratchett. And I wasn't saying it was directly a Dante reference. I was saying it was related to what Dante was writing about. Or, well, I suppose it would relate to an individual who would have never ended up in any of the places that Dante was writing about. Nah. Hey there, Jason. How's it going? Okay. So, I will try to be the Virgil to all your Dantes here. So what was Dante writing about? Yeah. Hell, purgatory, and heaven. Now, who is an individual who would never go to any of those three? The unbaptized, oh. I think the unbaptized either end up in hell or purgatory. It's a specific individual. A very major figure in the Bible canon. Yeah, I thought that was the case. No. You need to go to your Old Testament here. It was a human. Although, well, this will be a major giveaway to anyone who's familiar with it. He is a human, or at least was, depending on what RPGs you play. There we go. Because the whole thing is, Cain... Yeah, the whole thing is, Cain collected grain whilst Abel Cain harvested grain whilst Abel slaughtered and collected meat. Yeah, Abel sacrificed animals, and basically Cain didn't get favoured because God wanted meat. Yeah. So what I think this is one of those, it depends what version of the Bible you read, but if I remember the curse specifically, it's that Cain is cursed to walk the earth. And yeah, he's cursed to walk the earth, and actually, there's an easy way to determine whether this was ever actually said. And before I continue, I'm going to save things because otherwise I know I'm going to lose stuff. Actually, no, in Buffy, it's never outright said who vampires are descended from. It's just, in fact, actually, no, in Buffy, vampires are just descended from demons. A demon bit a human, and there was the transfer of power there, and then it all spread from there. It's Vampire the Masquerade, where vampires are descended from Cain. Alright. Alright. After Cain killed his brother, God declared to Cain, "Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground. which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth. So, restless wanderer on the earth, depending on how you read that, that could be inferred to mean that he is cursed with immortality, but your mileage may vary on the reading of that. So, yeah. As with anything within the Bible, it's all up to... Yeah. The nature of the mark on Cain has been subject of much debate and speculation. The Hebrew word translated mark as oath and refers to a mark, sign or token. Elsewhere in the Hebrew scriptures, oath is used 79 times and is most frequently translated as sign. So the Hebrew word does not identify the exact nature of the mark God put on Cain. Whatever it was a sign/indicator that Cain was not to be killed. Some propose that the mark was a scar or some kind of tattoo. Whatever the case, the precise nature of the mark is not the focus of the passage. The focus is that God would not allow people to exact vengeance against Cain. Whatever the mark on Cain was, it served this purpose. I mean, the more you read of the Bible, the more you go, what the fuck were they on? Which book of Revelations? The first book of Revelations or the second? Yeah. Half the time I just imagined that the Bible was just written by people who were on a deadline to get it finished. Yeah, there's a book of Revelations in the Old Testament, and there's a book of Revelations in the New Testament. In the Old Testament, it is the book talking about the coming of Christ. Supposedly. Which is, it's weird to consider that the tales about this deity born as human this deity born as a human who goes around teaching wisdom to people much older than himself, and proceeding to do things like turning water to wine, making thousands of loaves and fish, and raising people from the dead. And meeting up with a bunch of dead dudes on a hill. That's more grounded. Fair point, Harpy. I mean, well, here's the thing. If you actually look at the Book of Revelations and read it for what it actually means, what it is in relation to is the metaphorical apocalypse of the oncoming of the effects of the Roman occupation. The whole number of the beast, that's actually in reference to one of the Roman emperors. 616, I believe, being the number of Nero. It's definitely one of the Roman emperors that it can be related to. I'm a bit uncertain of which one. Which one is the Book of Judges? I'm barely thinking of anything with this one. Fair enough. The first paragraph was... Deladros is one of the two nations recognized as being the place from which the first tribes of Fae are believed to have been founded, the other being Linadros. Ah, fair enough. I remember going to sermons with my grandfather. Don't remember a single thing about them. Trying to think when the last time I was in a church. That was in a hotel. I think the last time I was in a church was like 6 or 7 years? No, longer than that. About 9 or 10 years ago for my friend's wedding. And that... Right, so the first tribes... That's part of the reason why I threw that in there, so we can figure out something about the first tribes of Fae. Oh! Okay. History. Oh wow, that is a long time ago. Right, we've said that Linodros favours wheat and barley and, you know, grains of various kinds, whereas Deladros, them... Oh, for fuck's sake. Right. Wait for the ad break to be done. Fortunately, I was never forced to go. Like, my parents aren't particularly religious. My mum's essentially an apostate at this stage. Is that the word I mean? Yeah, like, I think she used to be a believer, but at this stage she's just sort of like, nah. And my dad's just an agnostic. So, by and large, I've always been viewing... Since I was about 10, I've been viewing religion in a very dispassionate, disconnected... Okay, this is a thing. It has no bearing on me. Right. Fair enough. I mean, um, the friend's, uh, yeah, the friend's wedding I was at, husband is a believer, the wife isn't. But she'll go along to church because it's a community thing. She's not especially a believer, but it's an opportunity to sort of interact and have that feeling of community. I've got nothing here. I am very much. I am staring at the page and it's sort of like nothing. There is nothing coming. So this is the opportunity for you to all throw ideas at me because I'm just sort of like, I don't know. I mean, we are above the word count for it going off of the stub list, but it's still one of those. I would like a little bit more, if simply to put it at, 150 to 200 words. I've got it. Fae Sisters. There is a reason. So here's the thing. I'm trying to go for the nomenclature I'm trying to go for with the Fae is plant-based. So flowers, fruits, vegetables, anything like that. Granted, I do have established Fae names in the family trees, but I am going to go. Those are placeholder names, and I'm going to go back to them and rejig them so they're more appropriate. Let's just catch up on the chat. Now, sect would be the correct term for it. I'm just wondering how you go about being baptized by 3 different people now. I'm trying to think. Anyone care to hazard a guess why I might be going for poppies in this instance? No, nothing to do with the First World War. Bear in mind, we're dealing with the Fae and things that could be adjacent to the Fae. Pies? And upon reading Pies, my brain has gone to Asdaf movie with I baked you a pie. Oh boy, what flavour pie? Pie flavour. And then from there, my brain has gone to, I wonder if it would be possible to bake a pie within a pie. How difficult would that be to do? Should I try doing that? Would that be a worthwhile experiment? Attempt? I suppose what you could do is do a sort of... do the outer pie and then bake a pie that you would put inside that pie. But then what would you just make increasingly... would it be a Matryoshka doll of pies? Or would it be that the pie inside the pie had a specific flavour? It would have to be at least 3 pies to be pieception. Huh. Have to investigate if I can get a hold of any. Don't think to Frozen. I'll give you a clue. Think who you were having to battle against last night. With the exception of the weird twist that I had at the end of that fight. Exactly. Oh, so in the book, was it just they happened across poppy fields that caused them to be sleepy? Bear in mind, I've only read the book once, and that was years ago. The Queen of the Field. Of course, it would be a talking animal that would help them out, because it's freaking Oz. Why wouldn't there be a talking animal to help them out of the situation? Yeah. Not yet. Didn't need to write a note. Yeah, but I have said before you don't need to be. Oh, actually, bit of a question for you. Do you know of any particular breeds of poppy that are known for blooming during either autumn or winter? Just thought I'd ask, because
Yeah, I mean,
Oh dear. Right. God. Genus of poppy that's named after the Baltic German / Imperial Russian botanist Johann Friedrich von Eschscholtz. And it's a name that's given to poppies found in Mexico or southern United States. God. You couldn't find a botanist from that area to name them after? Western North America. I still don't understand why it flagged that up last time. Ah, those are cool. Have to investigate if there's either recipe that we have for such a thing, or if we can, or if I can find them nearby. Right. we're gonna... Actually, no. Part of the reason why I've gone with plant names as the basis for the Fae names, outside of the fact that I love the flower fairies and that's been an influence, is the fact that it lends a lot more interesting dynamics towards the whole by virtue of that, gendered naming is not going to be really a thing within their society. Because if everyone's being named after flowers, if that is the standard thing, you could hear the name Rose and you're not automatically going to assume that it's the name of a woman. You know, it could be the name of a woman, a man, someone non-binary. You don't automatically know, because in your culture, being named after a plant is just a thing. I mean, it's interesting to consider because names, just within English, you've got the names Vivian and Hilary. Those used to be very commonly masculine names, but for some reason, over time, those have become more readily recognised. Oh, Marion, that's another one. Those three names have more readily been recognised as feminine names. It's very odd to consider. It's curious in terms of like how that development has gone. You know, you find yourself wondering, well, will that happen to other names? Will it happen to names like Lewis or Martin or Edmund? You know, you have to wonder what are going to be the next names that radically flip. And in the same rep, I mean, that does actually make me wonder, are there any examples where the opposite has been the case, where typically recognised as women's names have ended up becoming more popularly used as men's names? I can't think offhand of any examples of that. I'm not saying that that hasn't happened, I'm just saying that I have not come across it myself. Of course, an interesting one is the name Ashley, because I've probably encountered as many male Ashleys as I have female Ashleys. So that's a bit of a head scratcher. Of course, I remember in my karate club there was one girl called Ashley, and because I was often having to do the sort of ticking off names and all that sort of thing when people would sign in, when I'd be writing out her name, it's sort of like, was the person drunk when they were spelling this? This is not how you spell Ashley. Because it was the spelling Leigh. It's not the worst example of strange spellings of names. It's just a weird one because it's sort of like a, why are you being unkind to your child and making it difficult for them to spell their name until they're about the age that this girl was? No offense to anyone whose name is spelled unusually, it's just, it is one of those head-scratching moments. Anyway, back to this. I'm trying to remember. Ah, right. Hey there, Fenorio. How's it going? Now I need to... Yeah. That's interesting. Didn't realise Ashley Ball had voiced the most episodes. I'm starting to feel well enough to be able to go on holiday then. Okay. I'm just... gonna write this in. Just writing stuff in so that pretty much going to be cloned for chunks of this, but oh well. Yeah, that Sasha's a fair shout. I've definitely... In fact, I would argue that, at least in terms of its westernizing, Sasha has ended up being more of a masculinely used name. Neutral, leaning a little bit towards masculine. So... Just comparing and contrasting. I'm trying to avoid repeating myself constantly. I forgot that, yeah, there's a character in Psychonauts called Sasha. And now I need to check something. Because... oh yeah, I do have Psychonauts too, so... maybe at some point I'll be streaming the second one. I wouldn't really feel so inclined to stream the first one for one very key reason. It's kind of awkward to play on modern systems. I mean, we're talking about a game from 2005. 2005 at least. A very old game, at least. Well, not very old, but... yep, 2005. Because I knew it came out whilst I was in secondary school. I think it wasn't until a couple of years later that it actually got ported over. Oh no, it was on Windows as well. Ah, that's it. It wasn't until the following year that it was on Steam. And that's when I would have just been getting into sixth form. But yeah, it's a bit of an awkward play because everything is really sensitive. Also, I'm almost at the end of the game, and it's one of those I don't really want to... I don't want to go all the way back to the beginning and all that, but I'm sure I can sort out a recap, and when I get round to it, I can stream Psychonauts 2, which, at least in theory, shouldn't be a difficulty to play. I was admittedly holding off on completing Psychonauts because there was still a bunch of the various collectibles to get, but I've come to the conclusion that I'm never going to be able to find some of them, no matter what I try. It's not a matter of not having the skill. I literally can't find them. I've looked everywhere, and it's one of those, where are they? Yeah, because you really have to learn the sensitivity and all that sort of thing, because modern systems are that much more sensitive. It's like, I remember years ago trying to play Warcraft 2 on a much more modern system, and you really had to sort of shunt the I think it was only playing it on Windows XP, and yet that update you really had to shunt down the mouse sensitivity, because just be going all across the map, it would be impossible otherwise. And this isn't because it was a pirated copy, because it was the actual copy of the game. You know, there hadn't been any funkiness going on because I didn't have a legal version. I am actually... Okay, I want to get audience input here, because I've actually been wondering about this a little. I'm kind of wondering if maybe I should make spring and autumn be the Seelie Fae, and summer and winter be the Unseelie Fae, sort of fully contrasting the extremes. If you can give warnings in a non-spoilery way, then by all means. Because I have deliberately avoided watching most stuff Psychonauts 2 related. Like, I've seen a couple of clips, but otherwise I've made sure not to see that much because I want to go into it fully blind. And it's not simply because of the contrast, it's also I'm also thinking in this context, because we're saying about we're saying about how the fair, but here's my logic. So I'm thinking spring and autumn for the Seelie Fae, because if we're going with the idea that they come from a land where grains and whatnot are the type of food that they more trade in, and we're going with Deladros being the meat, then we can operate, it's sort of like, what do you use to preserve meat? And I don't really see your logic there. It's not like they'd actually have domination over holiday practices or anything. Actually, there's something to explore. Why are they named the different seasons? Actually, I can also think... Now, this is a bit of an abstracting out, but I can think of a very key reason. Here's a key reason that you would have Unseelie Fae be summer. Potatoes typically grow during the spring and summer months. May talked. Oh. So one of them does give credence to what I was thinking, the other doesn't. Basically, what I'm thinking is, because potatoes, they grow during the summer, tomatoes seem to grow any time. Although May is... It seems like tomatoes' prime period of growth is the summer. The key reason I'm going for this is that I'm pretty sure yeah. Potatoes, part of the nightshade family. Potatoes, part of the nightshade family. Okay, when do chilies typically grow? Cultivation. Plants prefer warm conditions. So actually, no, my own research is kind of lending credence to what I'm saying, because tomatoes, they grow anytime, but their main period of growth seems to be the summer months. Potatoes grow during spring and summer, so chilies prefer warm conditions, so summer months would be preferable to them. Tobacco. Tobacco germination is activated by light. During the summer and autumn seasons. This is not yielding conclusive answers. This is even worse than being defeated by my own research. It's making it less conclusive so I can back my stance up. Oh dear. Well, we'll have a mull over it for now. Okay, you have me morbidly curious. Go on. Bring flowers. Okay. Now I'm gonna have to look bloody flower language. One moment. For the benefit of those who don't know, flower meanings are a major aspect of my setting. It's actually been a key thing. Feeding into how things have been going. Right. Yep. Okay, so let's see. Daffodil, tulip. That's a rather cute meaning. Yellow tulips, sunshine in your smile. I do have to wonder about the accuracy of that, but if that's true, that's rather sweet. Alright, we've got 3 for spring. Now summer. Okay, you really should explain why it's got 2 meanings there. Yeah, but why does it mean those 2 different things? What is the... Yeah, but... Okay, let me clarify. What I'm asking is... where do the different meanings come from? You know, it's all very well saying that they've got different meanings, but it would be helpful to say, oh, let's just take 2 examples. In France, the hydrangea means gratitude for being understood, whilst in Romania, it means frigidity and heartlessness. I'm just plucking those 2 countries out. I don't know why those are the 2 that came to mind, but hey-ho. I mean, the thing is, you've also got different meanings depending on the colour of the flower. Like, because there are so many different colours of rose, there are many different meanings to the rose. Like, for example, yeah. So a red rose means love, whilst a dark crimson rose is mourning, a pink rose is happiness, a white rose means innocence, and a yellow rose means jealousy. But also some of those have multiple meanings, so it's really one of those. You need to be specific. You need to elaborate on these. All right. Okay. Okay, maybe not that. Right. I have a feeling that's meant to be Prussian blue. F off. Oh. Really? Hi there, Malcolm. How you doing? Right now we're just... Oh yeah? What'd you get done? Look, I just want... That's what I want. Right. When does it grow? Oh, don't worry about it, Fenorio. If you need to get some rest, then by all means. And hopefully, even just lurking helps you relax your brain. Oh, that sounds cool. And stay safe, Fenorio. Hope you have a lovely holiday. Alright. Late spring and early summer. Generally from May to July. Okay, we'll go with that. Because also, given the name meaning, lupine, imagination. I like that. Lupine. Yeah, I'd love to read it. Where is it? Just trying to get a bit closer to the desk so I can eat. Hey, June through to... I'm gonna go with that. We'll go with Gladiolus. Strength of character, generosity. Okie dokie. have a look at that in a sec. And, right, we need one more summer flower. I realise that the joke here is that we are literally naming summer childs, or summer children. Quite literally naming sweet summer child because they're Seelie Fae. Well, it's important. So, here's the thing about the Fae in my setting. They're not necessarily the villainous the villainous trickster types that is the standard thing. I've just gone with there is a race of humanoids, they're related to humans, and they're called Fae. The similarities end with being shapeshifters, and they are very magically inclined. But outside of that, like, there are villainous Fae. In fact, there's a whole subcourt of unseelie Fae known as the Nightmare Court, who are that way inclined, but that's a whole other matter. Basically, they are the Fae that all the other Fae go, you are rude and we don't like you. Well, you're not just rude, you're also really messed up. Yeah. But that's the thing. With my setting, I'm always going, how do I avoid the Planet of Hats syndrome? Those who are unfamiliar, Planet of Hats is when you have... Star Trek is a key example, a key culprit of this, where an entire race is just one particular stereotype. Like the Klingons, they're all about honor, they're warfarers, they love to fight. Their whole thing is dying in battle, yada yada yada. The Romulans, they're dishonorable cutthroats. They're basically, if you took the Roman Empire and turned it up to 11 and broke off the switch. The Cardassians, they're all about order and cultural monoliths. Whereas I'm always sort of thinking, well, to paraphrase Mark Hamill, people just aren't like that, George. Actually, no, let me reword that a bit more. People just aren't like that, Gary. But yeah, it is just generally making sure that there's never that sense of, well, there's no room for these actually being people. Because if you're going to do that, then you might as well just have different countries be exclusively those races. And whilst, yes, I do have some countries that are predominantly certain races, it's not a case of that is the only example in the world of that race. Like, the orcs from that area. Like, the orcs from Daestara are much more, I suppose I'd say they are kind of in line with Klingons in a way. You know, they're very much sort of, they've got a very rigid, ordered structure, and they've got their rules and regulations of who gets chosen to be their leader and all that sort of thing. But that's specifically the Daestara orcs. Right. In contrast, the orcs on the island that the party are currently on, they are pastoral farmer types. They don't really care that much. They can fight if pushed to it, but their main concern is just living a peaceful life. I don't know why I'm doing this and not that. Amaranth. Ooh. Yeah, we'll go with that. Pop that there for now. Oh, crumbs. Bear with whilst I close a few tabs. So what we're writing about is the nation where the first Fae came from. And so we've got the nation, we were writing about the nation that the Unseelie Fae originated from. Now we're writing about where the Seelie Fae originally came from. And so I was looking up flowers that sprout in the spring and summer. God, we've spent so long on just these two things because it's been a bit of a we've got nothing. And they logically should be connected given their names. And true. I mean, there is a whole reason why it's been a core aspect of the campaign and the setting and whatnot, because there's so much that you can do with flower meanings and messing with your players because of those flower meanings. Like, for example, the purple hyacinth means that you're asking for forgiveness or you're signifying regret. And in the campaign, you've got the uncle who is in mourning for his late wife, and there are purple hyacinths all around the city that he's been made regent of. Um, just a little tidbit bit of culture that sprang to mind. I kind of love that idea. Right. Oh, one moment. Yes. I saved this a while ago. Just trying to... Alright. One moment whilst I edit things. And apologies for having me staring right at you whilst I do this, but... Right. Yeah. Person A owns a flower shop, and Person B comes storming in one day, slaps $20 on the counter, and says, "How do I passive-aggressively say fuck you in flower? My time has come. So you need a bouquet of geraniums, stupidity, foxglove, insincerity, meadowsweet, uselessness, yellow carnations, you have disappointed me, and orange lilies, hatred. It would be quite striking and full of loathing." And there is the bouquet. I would have sent such a bouquet to my ex, but she has cats, so can't really be sending, I think, most of the flowers in that bouquet. I may hate her, but I don't want to harm cats. They didn't do anything to deserve that. foxgloves, lilies. I'm pretty sure geraniums as well. In fact, down the rabbit hole with Edmund Scribbins. Oh, geranium. Yes, geraniums are poisonous to cats. Foxglove, yeah. Meadowsweet. It is. Okay, meadowsweet would be fine, but it can cause mild digestive upset if ingested in large amounts. Well, that can be said for most plants. Carnations. Yep, carnation. So the majority of that bouquet would be deadly to cats, unfortunately. So whilst it would be amusing to give her such a bouquet because she's dumb as a post, and so it would just be it would be one of those, what the fuck is this? And I'd be able to go look it up and it'll make sense. But I don't want to be poisoning cats. No, because yeah, lilies are just outright, you can't give lilies to cat. Like, cats cannot be anywhere near lilies. They're just, that's just a big no-no. I suppose I could sort out plastic. Yeah. Yeah, it messes with their kidneys. I think most of those... Yeah. Carnations can cause gastrointestinal upset, including vomiting and diarrhea. Can cause skin irritation if the sap comes into contact with their skin. So, just a variety of different ways that they can be toxic to cats. Yeah. Okay. Well, we've got those two. Kind of had to do those two together, despite the whole, roll a letter and do the stuff in that, because they're so... I had established that they were intrinsically linked, so... And of course my dinner is ended. Oh well. I had some dinner, so that'll keep me going until end of stream and I can heat it up and all that. But that normally happens. This is why I generally go for pasta instead, because pasta or pizza, it's much easier because I don't have to worry about cutting things up or anything like that. Right. Need to talk to someone about those. Lunderwald, is that one? One moment. Okay. Good. We haven't lost anything there. Okay. Let's have a look at this one. Dulrug Brel. Dialect of Orcish spoken by the Orcs of Draxin Village on the island of Delthir. According to their language, the term for the dialect means tongue of the shackleless. Oh god, there are so... In the same breath, Tolkien did so much good for the world of fantasy writing, but he also has a lot to answer for. Yeah. All the detail that just makes you go, I don't need that much detail. Describe the structure and design of the alphabet. Jesus wept. I get that. It's one of those things of I need to... What's really annoying with how they do things is when you add words to the dictionaries, it doesn't count to the word count. Baffling design. Funny thing is, this is where you get me rambling on more about my setting. So I've got it established that the nomenclature for at least the orcs of this area is that if they're male, then they'll typically have an apostrophe in their name. But if they're female, they won't. And I was actually talking to Banshee the other day about this, and if the matter of a trans character were to come up, then it would very much be in keeping with their journey. If that is a typical male thing, to add an apostrophe into the name, or take on a name that has an apostrophe in it. Oh. Oh, that was added into the wrong one. Yeah, it's interesting because I'll fully cop to the fact I was finding myself a bit lacking on inspiration, so I cribbed a few things from existing modules and I modified some of the names here and there, edited a few things to make them a bit more circumstantially appropriate, all that sort of thing. And it's just something that came about with renaming some of the NPCs. I was sort of like, how can I make this work as an orc thing? And then it just started flowing. That sort of like the male orcs were ending up with apostrophes in their name. And I just thought, you know what, let's roll with it. Let's have this be something that's a cultural identifier of their tribe. Okay. Right, let's get to working on common tongue of the dwarves features a great many loan words. Design. Alright, do we have a word for family? Tribe? Man? Okay, so... Okay, so... Oh, I just realized something I need to do. Yeah, I like the idea that unisex names would have a an accented letter in them. I'm going to change the music to something a bit more upbeat, because, yeah, I need something to activate my brain a bit. Oh god, the amount of animatics. I just want the song! We'll go with that.
What a brilliant speech you gave.
What was there?
Just a friend.
Actually, considering the idea is that they are then the name Dalrel means breaking shackles or something like that. It would make sense.
Wouldn't you like a taste of the power? Wouldn't you like to use more than words? Deep in the night, the fight lasts for hours. You can be hurt or you can be hurt. Wouldn't you like to have some other magic? Wouldn't you like your outcome preferred? Deep in the night, the fight can be tragic. I'll help you conquer her. She can turn you to an animal that'll end up on a plate. She can all but make you fall in love like you're
On your 100th date,
She can
conjure up a monster
that'll grind you to the bones. She has all the ways to hurt you when you take her all along. Wouldn't you like a taste of the power? Wouldn't you like to use more than words? Deep in the night, the fight lasts for hours. You can be hurt or you can beat her. Wouldn't you like to have some of the magic? Wouldn't you like to have my fur? Deep in the night, the fight can be tragic. I'll love you conquer her. Oh, here in the root of this flower, there lies such a power to take her on. You must consume and digest it, then you'll manifest a being of your creation. All you need's imagination, though it's only for a moment, till you've beaten your opponent.
And I call this route Holy Moly.
Wouldn't you like a taste of the power? Wouldn't you like to use more than words? Deep in the night, the fight lasts for hours. You can be hurt or you can be hurt. Wouldn't you like to have some of the magic? Wouldn't you like your outcome preferred? Deep in the night, the fight can be tragic. I'll help you conquer her. Wouldn't you like a taste of the power? Wouldn't you like to use more than words? Deep in the night, the fight lasts for hours. You can be hurt or you can be hurt. Wouldn't you like to have some of the magic? Wouldn't you like your outcome preferred? Deep in the night, the fight can be tragic. I'll help you conquer her.
Hermes! Thank you.
Don't thank me, friend. You very well may die. Good luck.
600 men, 600 deaths under my command, 'cause I had one goal in mind. No fleet, no band, only this raft that I made by hand. How will I reach my homeland?
All you have to do is not open this bag.
Hermes?
Hello, old friend.
So you're the one who talked to Calypso. Why are you here?
You're being given a final option. Consider this your one last chance to make it back home and abandon caution. Wash it away like the blood your hands have known. I know if you dance with fate, then I know you'll enhance your state.
If your plan's so great, then why'd you wait to say it?
Well, it's a little bit dangerous, my friend. You need a mindset change for this. You cannot get away from playing safe for this. You want to
Trying to not sing too loud because of how late it is. But it makes my voice a bit croaky as a consequence.
You want to get home, put it all on the line. Dangerous.
Alright, I'm in. What do I do?
First up, uncharted waters. When lost, look towards the sky. Follow the North Star, no matter how far you think you're going. You keep on rolling. When strangers look around the aisle, when danger greets you with a smile, fight your way through. Do what you must do, but no matter what, keep moving. It's gonna be dangerous, my friend. You need a mindset change for this. You cannot get away from playing safe for this. You wanna get home, put it all on the line and put your whole bread in it. Remember every trick in your domain for this. You gotta treat it like it's the main event. You wanna get home, put it all on the line. Be dangerous. And lastly, the win back.
We went through so much to get this. Keep this bag
Yeah,
closed if you wanna get home, sir.
It's one of those things that really does
Won't let you get closer.
feel like it fleshes out the character a lot. Just that laugh, just
Open this bag and you'll never make
it really gives that sense of, you know,
Don't you know that
he's a bit of a
danger is
trickster
my
and all
friend?
that.
My whole life I've trained for this. I cannot tell you how much I have paid for this. I have to get home, put it all on the line. I'm gonna use ruthlessness, every trick, every skill put to use for this. I plan to put an end to all the foolishness. I have to get home, put it all on the line, or be dangerous. Hermes. Thank you. Don't thank me, friend. I'm not the one who fought for you. Then who? Good luck. Well, it's a little bit dangerous, my friend. You need a
But that
mindset
was-
change for this. You cannot get away with playing safe for this. You wanna get home, put it all on the line.
Father, God King, rarely do I ask for favors. Now I'm knocking on your door with hopes to save a friendship with one who's a prisoner far from home. Odysseus.
Divine intervention. Is that what you seek? To untie apprehensions that were placed on that Greek. You are playing with thunder.
I'm gonna have to give it another listen through. Oh no, how terrible. To be able to come back to you
Why
and
not
explain
make it a
that.
game? Convince each of them that he ought to be released, and I'll release him.
Who's them?
Apollo! Hephaestus! Aphrodite! Ares! Hera! Or me? What do you say?
Great.
Very well.
All right.
Bring it.
Apollo!
You all know I'm a fan of catchy songs. So with so many sirens gone, I think God is in the wrong.
They were trying to do him worse. All he did was reimburse them. Now they'll tread with caution first to live another day and sing another verse.
If that's true, release him.
I'm realizing what I'm doing by making this elaborate language with the dwarves, but I'm amused by the idea of it being at risk becoming infuriating conversing with a dwarf in their own language because of how many different tenses they use. I mean, I'm willing to let that slide because... Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Please reconsider this.
Really, Athena? These old tricks?
Ares!
But yeah, I'm willing to change its terminology a slide because
didn't even try to kill her. Hides inside a wooden horse to get the job done.
there are so many variations on the myths that it's sort of like, what's one
What's your
more?
time now? Here stands my friend, and tell your lover that a broken heart can mend. You want more bloodshed, then set him free.
Exactly.
To get back to his homestead, he'll make everybody bleed.
Release him.
Which meme are you referring to, Harpy?
So many heroes, so many tales. Give me one good reason why you should prevail. He's got the mind of a genius, try harder. He's pretty skilled with words. You can do better than that. He's kind of funny. Never once has he cheated on his wife. Release him. I've played your game and won. Release him.
You dare to defy me, to make me feel shame. No one beats me. No one wins my game. Thunder, bring her through the ringer. Show her I'm the judgment call, the one who makes the kingdom fall. Is she dead?
Let him go.
This video was brought to you by
Yep.
Curiosity Stream.
Gone on to non-music stuff now. Fair enough. I've got to write it. What would present future be? Now that actually, yeah, that will be future present. Future events such as these affect one in the future. Yeah, that's generally what I'm going for. So, past present is that which happened in the last hour, so stuff that's happened very recently. What would present past be?
Apollo! Hephaestus! Aphrodite! Ares!
The whole thing. Okay, another diverge.
Pardon me, sir. I have an idea. Corporal, get me the video cassette of Spaceballs the movie.
Yes, sir. Producers, 12 chairs, blazing cells, young Frankenstein.
Colonel Sanders, may I speak with you, please?
Yes, sir.
How can there be a cassette of Spaceballs the movie? We're still in the middle of making it.
Oh, that's true, sir. But there's been a new breakthrough in home video marketing.
There is?
Yes, instant cassettes. They're out in stores before the movie is finished.
Here it is, sir. Spaceballs.
Good work, Corporal. Punch it up. That's much too early. Prepare to fast forward.
Preparing to fast forward.
Fast forward.
Fast forwarding, sir.
No, go past this. Past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Try here. Stop.
This is probably one of the more
What the hell am I
expensive.
looking at? When does this happen in the movie?
Now. You're looking at now, sir. Everything that happens now is happening now.
What happened to then?
We passed then.
When?
Just now. We're at now.
Go back to then.
When?
Now.
Now?
Now.
I can't.
Why?
We missed it.
When?
Just now.
When will then be now? Soon.
Oh dear. I think that's enough. We can come back to the rest, but we've just... Oh, God. Well, the Dwarven language has just become very silly just by virtue of this. Right. Oh. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good point, and I've just realised I need... Thank you all. Didn't mean... What the heck is going on? Oh, for the love of... This is part of the reason why I'll be switching over, because there are so many times that the website just breaks itself. I know I've got my complaints about the Divinity games, but one of the really cool world building aspects of it that I found was the whole idea that the elves in that setting only talk in the present tense because of how they perceive time and life and all that sort of thing. It radically shifts how they speak. It would be nice if they had little explanations below the boxes of what they mean. That was weird. Briefly halted for a moment. All right. That. And it is right on 11, so that's where we're going to wrap up. Actually out of drink at this juncture. Give me a moment. Let's see how we've done tonight. And there's the ad warning. So we've updated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 articles. So, and considering several of the 4 out of 6 of those were language related ones, and we were trying to, I was just spitballing stuff, and we ended up with some interesting concepts. So it's very good going. Right. So just thinking, announcements. So I'm at a Dutch angle. Still don't know why it's called a Dutch angle. I'll have to look into that. Yeah. Typical announcements. So we've got Beyond Good and Evil on Wednesday, and we'll be starting, which with much trepidation, we'll be starting Deadly Premonition on Thursday. Brace for some Twin Peaks style weirdness for that one. And yeah, no special things going on next Sunday. I really need to get round to talking to various people and basically being sort of like, hey, you, when are you available to do the collab stream that I mentioned? And then go from there. Anyway. Without further ado, before we get another ad, let's get to raiding. If anyone's got any suggestions for someone to raid, by all means. Otherwise, I am going to make life very easy on myself, and we are going to raid. Yeah. I was going to say, we're going to raid her. I'm probably going to end up. I'll be playing Stardew while she's playing Stardew. Weirdly, she's gotten me back into it. So, anyway, without further ado, I will catch you all later. Night, everybody.